Hi, it's Sherry with the ATL Clinical Workshop, and today I want to give you some tips. Actually, I want to discuss common mistakes that are made with the grid. You know, the grid is not something you're scored on, it's for your personal use. However, you know, it's real important that you put accurate information on that grid so that you don't make any mistakes. One of the things that we teach is, as you're putting things in boxes, that you write out a mnemonic. Some students will just write out the first letter of the mnemonic, where others will write out the entire word of what that mnemonic means. For instance, abdominal assessment, we have 4 P's, and then an S, and then an LL, and then an S, and an F. I mean, you see, and I'm sitting there going, what if I get nervous and I can't remember but 2 of those P's? I start freaking out. You know, and then I'm in the room and I'm trying to do my work and I can't remember, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to fail because I can't remember my critical element. We could have alleviated all of that if we just simply write out each word of that mnemonic, like privacy, P, pain, position. If I had them all written out in the planning phase before I go in the room, then simply all I have to do is just look down at my grid and check it off as I go. That's another thing, is you don't want to move from one box to the next until you've completed everything in that box. So a good checks and balance system. I like to go put a check mark by everything I did, and then before I move on, I like to re-review it to make sure I didn't miss anything. Because if I'm still in that same box and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do this, I can still catch myself and prevent a fail because I didn't go ahead and move on to the next area. So, you know, it's real important that you check it off as you go. And the other thing is, I like to personally color code. So I want all my information to be on that grid. I want information of what I'm doing, like bullseye. I've got to do this, like a medication at 9 o'clock or a follow-up pain assessment at 9:30. I want to put those times in red so that my mind's going urgent, 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 warning. Information that I gathered from the chart. If I read in the chart the patient had abnormal lung sounds, I want to write that in my respiratory box so that when I go and I start to do my assessment on their lung sounds, I can trigger myself going, listen for rhonchi, listen for wheezes, because I saw that was in the chart. But at the same time, I don't want to accidentally chart that. So I put that in blue to let me know, hey, that's for your information, but don't go charting it. And then if I'm stuck in the room and I'm like, oh my gosh, their oxygen levels are dropping, what am I going to do? I can't leave them to go get the primary nurse. You want to know who your team players are. Who's your backup people? You know, if I need a Foley bag emptied and I wasn't assigned to empty it, who am I going to call? You know, that's my UAP. That's your tech. So I put all my helpers in green. So like my respiratory therapist under oxygen management or respiratory management, my UAP to help me with vitals or intake and output, primary nurse for pain meds. So I put all my go-to people, green, G for green, G for go-to people, in green. I put those on my grid too, so everything I'm working off of is right there on one piece of paper, and I'm not flipping constantly back and forth. So there's you a couple of good tips on staying organized and using that grid to your benefit. For more information, visit our website, www.atlclinicalworkshop.com.